Hey everybody, it's David and Madison from American Field Trip.
Hello.
And today we want to talk about living on the road with kids.
Bum, bum, bum. We have two kids.
We have two kids.
We have a little boy who's 4.5 and a girl who is 2.
And when we started, they were
3 and 1.
3 and 1, yeah.
Yeah.
So we've been on the road for almost a year now.
Yeah. And they love it. They love living in a bus. They love living on the road. I am really surprised actually at how well they adapted. We kind of had it in our minds that if after a month of living on the road they were just not doing well at all, if they weren't thriving, we were gonna cut the cord.
We had
we had contingency plans.
We had a little okay, we can Craigslist the bus and head back to New York.
Because as fun as this trip is for us, we realized that our kids are too little to remember it.
Yeah.
And if they weren't liking what we were doing, not really fair to them to make them keep doing it.
Yeah.
But
they're super awesome.
They've loved it. So we wanted to talk about a couple of things that we feel like have worked really well.
So first, one observation that David, has had is that life on the road with kids is a lot like life anywhere else with kids.
Yeah.
I think we maybe this is a good thing. We have the benefit of never having done anything like this without kids. So we have nothing to compare it to. But I see, and this of course is the point, you see all the Instagram pictures of the nomadic wanderers living in their beautiful vans in these beautiful locations, and they look so fancy free and like their life is 1000% freedom. And maybe that's how it is without kids. With kids, it's a lot of making snacks and things like that. And
yeah.
It's a lot like living at home with kids. You're just in cooler places while you're doing it.
Yeah, and we've talked about this on our Instagram before. In particular, we had a day at Kenai Fjords National Park where we went on a 7 or 8 hour...
It was a long bout tour. An amazing boat tour.
It was incredible. We saw humpback whales, we saw
orca whales, we saw everything.
Sea otters,
glaciers,
and glaciers calving into the ocean. It was amazing and beautiful. But Graham got really sick while we were on the boat. It was very stressful getting there because we were late getting to the boat. Graham got really sick on the boat, threw up all over the deck.
Several times.
Many times.
It was bad.
And there were just a lot of things.
It was just kind of a day. If you have kids, it was one of those days.
It was a day. But what we realized is we would have had, that would have happened whether we'd been on the boat or not. In fact, Graham wasn't even boat sick. Graham was just had a bug that we didn't know about before it had nothing to do with even being on the boat. And so that would have happened regardless of where we were. And we kind of realized, we might as well be doing cool things.
Yeah.
I kind of realized this living in New York City too, because it's New York City with kids is a little bit tricky to get around. It's not too bad, but I mean...
It's a very kid-friendly city.
It's a very kid-friendly city, but
it's
getting around you have to haul your stroller up and down the subway steps, and...
you can't just drive to Target
and it's hard to find a bathroom if you're in the midst of potty training, which took 2 years when we did. But it's the same kind of thing. I realize it's easy to stay home, but it's also not very fun. And when those things happen at home, they become kind of the defining markers of that day. If kind of crazy, wacky things happen when you're out and about, they become just kind of a part of that story. So now when we look back on that day in Kenai Fjords, what we remember was not the stressful bits, but the really beautiful things that happened. And I think that's kind of been the overall tone of our trip, I guess, is that, or the lesson that we've learned is that things with kids are always going to be a little bit wacky. It's just kids are weird, and their needs are ever present and sometimes kind of bounce around from day to day, and you have to roll with it as a parent, and you might as well be doing the things that you love to do while you're doing all of that. It's just as easy to change a diaper on a trail as it is at home.
Yeah.
I mean,
it totally is. And one of the cool things that I've seen the kids pick up that has been really impressive to me is that they've learned how to be resilient in these situations. I think of myself as a kid, and I was not not as resilient as our kids are now. You know, like you're feeling sick or you're bored or something, and it's really easy to just be like whine and collapse and to, you know, really miss a lot of like cool stuff going on around you if you're just kind of not feeling it that day.
Yeah.
Or if, you know, something bad happens, or if the weather is lousy or something like that. A lot of those things can ruin an experience, but it's cool to see the kids be out in these amazing places and have, you know, kid needs and, you know, kid things happen. You know, they get sick, or they get, you know, they skip their nap and like melt down later in the day, and all this stuff happens, but they have learned through all of these experiences to just be super adaptable and to be pretty darn resilient little kids, which is pretty awesome. I admire that a lot.
Yeah,
especially
they've done great.
You know, Graham and Margie, they're well, maybe this is probably nothing to do with us. They're really just 5-star little kids.
They're really good kids, and I don't think it has anything to do with us, but I don't want to make it sound like we are just constantly pushing them past their limits and making them figure it out. Because we have tried really hard to have a schedule, to keep things consistent for them, to make sure that, barring like a strange circumstance, Margie gets her nap and Graham gets some quiet time during the day. We read to them every day. We all read together at night. We say prayers at night together as a family. We have tried to build in a lot of consistent things. And what we really love about living in the bus while we're doing this is that we put the kids to bed in the same space every night. We have the same routine, and they feel very comfortable here. They have all of their stuff. They know where things are. It's a tiny home, but it's their home, and they don't have to kind of be bouncing around from place to place. I can't imagine traveling full-time and being in hotels and having to like be in a different place every night.
That'd be a different animal.
For our kids, I feel like having a consistent environment to sleep in is really crucial for just being healthy and happy and thriving and being able to sleep well at night. And that's been a big thing. So we really, really love being in one space.
Yeah.
As we change places.
Yeah. Having a little, you know, house that you carry with you on your back is a pretty sweet deal with kids.
The other factor in the consistency is that we are with them all of the time. David works from the road, and I do a little bit. David works quite a bit more than I do. A lot more than I do, actually. This is more fair to say.
I don't sleep anymore.
And he does a lot of his work at night, but some of it during the day. But the biggest thing is that one of us is with the kids all the time, and usually both of us are. And having that time where we're all together as a family, and all of our activities are based around the four of us doing things together. I feel like we could be going through the apocalypse. Like, this could be like some Cormac McCarthy level stuff. We could be like, we could be doing the road, like pushing a shopping cart through deserted Marfa, Texas. But I think if we're together, I feel like our kids would be fine.
They'd probably be okay. Yeah, and that's
they need to be with us and to have us just talk to them, and like talk to them about things and through things. And if they have that, I feel like it does not matter if the world is exploding. Having
life being like an eternal Saturday and having two parents there all the time is a pretty sweet deal. It's a huge luxury to be able to have that happen, but it's way sweet. And at least for me, so I did the normal like 9-to-5 day job.
I was a stay-at-home mom, so this is more regular.
Stay-at-home mom. I work during the day, and super regular. And for me, this has been amazing. To get to spend so much time with the kids and to get to bond and have so many new experiences with them has been amazing. It's been, worth, if the bus burns down and we lose everything, and it's like, it will have been worth it for just that, having all of the time with the kids and stuff like that. Not only for, me being able to be there for them, but just for what it's taught me. Because I think as a working dad, it's weird. It's an adjustment when all of a sudden you're with the kids all the time. Because, I don't know, maybe like better dads are different than this. Because when weekends are kind of stressful, because you come home and it's like, you're like, like children. Because normally I'm just sitting, at a computer very quietly, and it's really,
Yeah, when you're
my
at
space
work,
is very controlled.
You're more in control of your time.
And no one bugs me.
Yeah.
And, you know, with kids, it's like a lot of screaming for Cheerios and things like that.
That's like the lesson of parenthood, is that loss of control.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I have control over nothing.
Learning to, like, live with the loss of control, mainly just to, like, not get stressed out with the loss of control. So that's been a big learning experience for me that has actually been very valuable, to just learn to have the mental and emotional stability to handle that kind of stuff. At least for me. Maybe I'm unique. Maybe I'm just unique in my challenges. But that's been
it's hard. I think every
cool for me.
I think every stay-at-home parent will tell you that. But it is for me, having David around to do all of this stuff together is really, really awesome.
Yeah, it's nice. It's nice to be able to tag team everything.
And we're very aware of how lucky we are to be doing that, and we thank our lucky stars every day.
Super.
A couple of big benefits that the kids have had, other than growing resilience, and this is kind of a part of that, confidence. Their confidence has grown a lot. Margie was only 18 months when we started this, and she's just
she didn't know any better.
Also, she's just like the most confident. She's amazing and hilarious and sassy and strong, and she
lets her needs be known.
She's gonna take over the world, and we're not worried about her at all. Although when she's a teenager,
we will all in 20 years we will either all be working for her or we will be dead by her hand.
She's amazing, but Graham is a very sensitive little soul, and he's very empathetic, and he's really, really in tune with other people's emotions and other people's needs. And he was very nervous about a lot of things before we started this trip. And not that that's not a part of his personality anymore, but I feel like he has grown a lot in confidence.
He's had to confront a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Because Margie didn't really know any better going into that. Right. She's like, I'm getting carried. I'm along for the ride. But Graham was like, Graham had to do a lot of hard hikes they didn't want to do. Yeah. And he had to push through a lot of stuff. And some scary hikes and some, things that he
some stuff that
was kind of scared about. And we were just talking about this today, that Graham is super social and loves playing with kids. And everywhere we go, we'll stop at playgrounds and stuff, and he goes, and at the beginning he was very shy and kind of had a hard time making new friends.
He'd have a really hard time approaching other kids on the playground if we weren't with friends that he knew. But now when we go to the playground, because he doesn't get a chance to play with kids his age all that often. In there. Yeah, he just goes up to kids and says, "Hey, what's your name? Do you want to play?" And when we were in Palm Springs, we took the kids to the playground, and there were all these 7 to 9-year-old girls.
He was hitting on this group of 7-year-old girls.
He was like, "Hey guys, I'm a ninja warrior," and he was climbing around them.
Yeah, he was showing off really, made friends with all these girls. So
which maybe was annoying to them. They were really cute with him, and they played.
They
with
were great.
And we loved it.
As the nerdy little human that I was as a kid, was like, oh my gosh,
But it's amazing to see him.
Graham is a rock star.
Just go for it. Yeah.
He's awesome.
And that's really fun. That goes kind of along with the major downside. I would say the only really downside that we've confronted with having kids on the road full time is that they miss their friends. Margie didn't have any friends.
She doesn't know.
She didn't know.
She's only aware of the concept
of friends. She was a baby
very recently.
But Graham had a really good set of friends in New York, and he misses them a lot. We did a lot of stuff with them beforehand, and he really misses his friends. He writes postcards from every park to his friends. He loves thinking about them when he's picking them out, and so he remembers them. We talk to them, and but that's kind of as far as it goes in terms of hanging out. We go to church every Sunday, and he goes to the kids' class there, the kids' Sunday school. And Margie goes to the little nursery, and they love that. But that is the one hard thing, is that there's no consistent social structure for them. Yeah. They love playing with each other.
We have gotten to see family. We've gotten to see a lot of cousins.
That's been awesome. We've hung out with a lot of cousins and a lot of friends with kids. So occasionally they do have really A+.
Super fun times.
Hangout experiences, but not having friends that they are able to see consistently is hard. They do really well together. They're really good friends with each other, which is
if that were not the case,
is a huge thing.
this would not have worked out.
Yeah, they like playing together.
We all
and
would have killed each other by now.
They entertain each other. So that's really good. And maybe if we had more kids or if they were older, the social thing wouldn't be as big of a deal. But we do wish that we had like...
I feel like if you're older, it would be even more of a deal. Big deal.
Yeah, I guess you...
Like if you're a teenager and your parents
that's
sticking
true.
to us, I would have rebelled.
Yeah. We do wish that we could like beam Graham's friends in a few times a week for playgroups.
That would be fun.
But as it stands, they do really well, and that's the one thing that we've considered when we thought like, oh, maybe should we do this forever? And then we just think, well, the kids kind of need friends. We also miss our friends.
People do it.
People do it.
It's great.
Yeah. Oh, the other thing we get asked about is school for Graham. Graham's not in school yet. He's only 4, so we haven't really worried too much about it, although...
He could be in preschool now, but...
Yeah, but preschool. What do you learn at preschool?
He's learning. He's learning tons.
Yeah, so...
He has so many creature facts.
Yeah, tons of creature facts. We are not worried about his education at all because we're working on reading with him just because he's interested in that. He likes to do that. We read to him a lot, to both the kids. He does a Junior Ranger book at every park and loves that and has learned a ton. We go to ranger programs. I feel like he's learned a lot more, but it's not been something that we've approached in a structured way or... we're not worried about him learning math right now, or he's just, right now it's just if he has a question, we find out the answer, and if there's something going on around us, we talk about it, and I feel like right now that's really the best way for him to learn, so that's been really good. He's learned a ton, and he's an adorable little national parks nerd who knows things that I just learned.
Yeah. He's got...
And a lot of things that I didn't know.
He's got some deep knowledge on geology.
Yeah. Like when we were in North
Salmon
Cascades.
migration.
When we were right outside North Cascades National Park, we were flying the drone. Don't fly drones inside the national park.
Can't do it in the parks.
Illegal, but outside the park we were flying it. And it got attacked by a hawk. And we were talking about it after, about how the hawk was diving, and Graham said, actually, that's called stooping when a hawk does that. So.
Which it is. Google it.
Yep. Anyway, so the kids have been great. And David kind of led off with talking about how we don't have maybe the freedom that it seems like other van lifers have. I will say, though, that...
We got a lot of freedom.
We do have a lot of freedom.
We can go wherever we want.
We're not complaining about our level of freedom. Yeah. But I feel like with kids, they impose a structure that's really good for us, that helps us to be more productive, healthier. We have to eat 3 times a day. We have to have snacks prepared. We have to, beyond food things, we have to go to bed because we know we're going to get woken up.
You got to be like a real functional human.
Yeah,
you
like
can't just...
You need to be an adult. And I feel like as soon as we had kids, we both became so much more responsible and productive. Wow. It's not like we had all this time before we had kids. We didn't use it well.
We were like crazy children before we had kids. We didn't know what we were doing. We just hung
out and watched Netflix all the time.
Yeah.
So it's not like we were really making the most of things. And the other thing with kids is that there's no way that we could stay inside this bus all day.
Oh my gosh.
Which if we didn't have kids, we totally could. If the weather was bad or whatever, we could be lazy and just hang out in here all day. We cannot do that with kids. So it forces us to get outside every day, to do active things, to tucker them out. And I feel like in general it just makes us better, healthier people. So
definitely.
So if you are...
At least it makes us try.
Oh, yeah. If you're a person with kids, don't be afraid of full-time travel or van life or bus life or
just taking a big road trip.
Or taking a road trip.
Don't be scared of the road trip.
Yeah.
7-hour drive is nothing.
Yeah, you can.
It is nothing.
You can work it out. We're gonna do videos on
overnight.
What our kids do in the car and kind of how they entertain themselves. But it's good. It's really good for them. It's been really good for us as a family.
So good.
We just want to hype the
2 thumbs up.
Okay.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe down below if you want more of our rambling vlogs about the details of road life, or more info on Buster or the national parks. Mm-hmm. Comment with questions. Send us an email. Check us out on Instagram at The American Field Trip. AmericanFieldTrip.com is our blog. Okay. Check us out. Thanks for watching.